This is one of the announcements from AI Creatives Connect that I typically make when we get an interesting question. And if you take a look at the chat, we got Bishan Vibe asking a great question and says, "That is super clean. My question is, how could you sell it as your music?" Well, you need to understand what you are asking is how can you sell it ethically? Or is it how can you sell it morally? Or is it how can you sell it process wise? Those are three different questions. So let's address them one by one. Ethics. Ethics, right? In terms of ethics, you're not breaking the law using SUNO. No government has come out to say you cannot publish music that is made using the help of AI. So, ethically speaking, there's absolutely nothing wrong in you selling artificial intelligence helped music. I see the music I create as hybrid. Let me put that in the chat. Hybrid. What? A hybrid is human and AI. So, if you watch the way I create, there is no way that Suno can get some of the stuff it comes up with without my input. There's just no way. Apart from the fact that you have the probability of me putting in the prompt exactly as I do after spending lots of time building AI tools for myself. You got to understand, I build tools I use to generate prompts, and that is creativity. So, ethically speaking, morally speaking, I have absolutely no problem with it. Now, it comes up to choice. Now, for my AI generated music, you find it under Phill the Creator, okay? For my music that I do not create with any help of artificial intelligence, you will be able to find my tracks not under Phill the Creator. I put hybrid under Phill the Creator, but everything that is just purely using studio and traditional methods is under Phill C. You can find both on Spotify. So the way I sell it, if you talk about the process, you got to have a distribution channel. So when you are looking for a good distributor, I'll put a couple in the chat. You have Lander and you have Distrokid. And then I also have CD Baby, but that's because I signed long ago under that umbrella. So they distribute some of my earlier day stuff under CD Baby. But in terms of the ethics and the morality of it, yeah, absolutely. I am a hybrid and I have no shame in being a hybrid, right? I take stuff from my old banks that I created even before AI in music was a thing, and I use AI to help accentuate that. And there's absolutely nothing wrong in it. It's no different from people using plugins and auto-tune and reverb and delays and loops, right? So if you wanted to say, is this 100% yours? No, there's an influence of others all through the years. Like a lot of my current stuff, when I play piano, you're going to hear the influence of McCoy or Chick or Bob James, right? So there's influences there. But if you're asking, was it 100% done by a human without any technology involved? That doesn't even exist anymore, right? Do you know that adding a bit of high frequency and bottom end to your music is an unfair advantage in the 17 and 1800s? They'll put someone on the stake for that stuff back then. So, the summary of my monologue, my friends, is you got to be comfortable putting your stuff out. You got to feel ethically okay about it, whether Bobby down the street doesn't feel ethical about it is of no consequence to me. I am comfortable doing what I do, right? The morality of doing what I do is not hiding it, and I ain't hiding it. And being comfortable in your own skin. Just because I'm using AI doesn't mean that I don't know how to get sounds I want using a big old team and spending tens of thousands of dollars. But it's foolishness. I just choose not to do it. I've hired scores of musicians over the past number of years. I pay them top dollar. I give them top tips, just like I want, right? But if I use AI, it doesn't mean I don't love them anymore. I just choose a different work method. And that's what it is. And everyone has to live that path that they see fit for themselves. It would be foolish of me to say, stop going to studios, use AI like I do. That's dumb. And it'll be equally stupid to say, stop using people, stop using AI, just do it all by yourself. You see how dumb it sounds? So, whether you are for artificial intelligence or you're against it, my summary is stop pushing the narrative in a threatening and menacing way, in an unhealthy way. That I am against, right? People need to have the freedom to do what they want to do. You get what I'm saying? Okay. So, when it's time to do it live, then call my friends. You got it, Bishan Vibe. That's exactly the mindset. And it's a very thought provoking question. And the truth is, I have world class. If I was going to tell you Suno had been able to pull off what my guitarist Andreas does, that would be a lie. I actually gave a competition and AI couldn't match my guitarist vibe. It couldn't touch him. He killed it compared to what it, and AI, I mean, it's not the rapidity of notes, right? It's the feel. And it honestly didn't give me the feel, right? Now, when you talk about my sax player, who is also out of Italy, that guy's untouchable. He's untouchable. It's the logistics of getting someone to do what you want, when you want, at the price you want. That's difficult. If it wasn't that hard, I would have at least 12 world class musicians that have played on all my stuff. I would have Tony, I would have Claude, I would have Harry, I would have all of my peeps. I'd have all of them in one place, all my drummers, all around from all around the world. My bass player out of Ukraine. Poor guy had to hide in a bunker during that crazy stuff that went on with Russia. I would have all those people right here at my beck and call. So I know where to get top talent. It's just bringing them all under one roof and having them play seamlessly. It's hard. So my choice to use artificial intelligence as a collaborator has been very well thought out, it's very calculated, and in fact, in the next hour, I'm getting ready to cook in the SUNO kitchen. Yeah, SUNO scientists about to enter that kitchen. You better be watching this channel because I'm going to put up an announcement and you're going to see me cook as realistic as possible a jam. And I'll just say don't miss it. Coming up soon. But thank you very much for the question. Yeah, AI will never replace humans. That's for fact. The only thing AI will do is help humans get stuff out cheaper, more simplistically. When you think about it, I don't know how you feel about the Arranger keyboard, but of late, I ain't been showing no love to my Arranger keyboards. Why? Because they are worse, in my mind, than Suno. Suno is light years better than the Arranger keyboards. The Arranger keyboards, they're not there. And look, I know a lot of people out of Europe have been saying you need to check this brand out of Italy. I checked it. I don't checked it, and there's nothing in that brand that can stand next to Suno. It's just going to repeat. Suno has more dynamic air. And then if you take that stuff, Midi, out of Suno, you got a windfall. I demonstrated it. I downloaded it out of Suno. I got the Midi. I put it through the crazy Spectrasonics module, and I have Jump Patitucci in the studio. Are you kidding me? So when you compare that stuff to what's on the Arranger keyboards that everyone's showing all this love to, paying $7,000 for an Arranger keyboard, $6,000, $7,000. Look, I know what to do with that money. If I had $6,000 and $7,000 to throw into a project, I'd rather use it for live musicians. But I understand some people have got gigs to do, so they get the higher, in quote, higher end Arranger keyboards like the Genos 2 and the PA5X. And don't get me wrong, I jam on those keyboards, but I ain't doing it on my dime. I do it in the music store. So I like what Suno has done for musicians who are inspired by the feel and the realism of the sounds. Leave the mix at the door. Look, and when I say at the door, I mean literally the literal door. Because if you're listening to music on, let's say, a pair of just okay speakers, you ain't judging the bass. You can barely hear the bass. You can barely hear the clarity of the mix. You're just absorbing the music and you're digging the vibe. So when we Puritans, and I include myself in there, when we Puritans complain about Suno's quality, just know that in the real world, when you're listening to a vibe in your Uber or you hear it in the mall, you ain't even hearing it in stereo. You're just hearing a mono sound, but you're digging the vibe. You get what I'm saying? So that's my philosophy. That's why I don't miss a beat. I don't miss a beat. I'm very different from other Puritans because I know when to leave my Puritanism at the door and to just put on the everyday guy hat. Let's make music with a good vibe. Let's clean it up as much as possible. Don't cut corners, right? Do your remixes, do your mastering, cut off the stuff that shouldn't be in there, and just do the best you can. But have a ball doing it and let it be part of your evolution. I listened to stuff I did in the 90s and I can still appreciate it, but I can see how far I've come. And I will look back at these Suno times and there are going to be better days ahead. But I'm not going to lose the opportunity of the evolution. I am part of the evolution. The journey is part of my evolution. The ridiculousness of the Suno sounds that it does and the hallucinations, it's all part of the evolution. And these are things I'll be speaking to in the future and saying, remember when Suno used to do these crazy hallucinations? And I would have been through the experience. But the other Puritans who are refusing, they're going to be in the future and saying, oh, I never went through that. And they're going to have everything good. I am a pioneer. We who use AI, we are pioneers. We're sludging through the crud and giving feedback and testing stuff. We're the scientists. And in the future, you're going to have the people resisting. Mark my words, you will have the people resisting because every door, watch it, every single door in the future, with the exception of those who are clueless, they will have AI built in. They will have AI plugins. The keyboards of the future, they will have AI plugins. The PAs, right? The power amplification of the future, it already has AI in it. I was at my local guitar center chatting to them about AI. They said, Phill, we already have stuff like that. All you need to do is play it a track and it will configure the EQ to what you're playing or putting in. It's already here. The future is already here. It's all over. Lambda is groundbreaking. They've been I've been using them for 8 years. So when you talk about using AI, I've been using AI since 2017 with Lambda when they first came on the scene. So everything I do is with calculation and deliberateness, right? All ethically and morally considered. What I feel is poor for using AI music is when people do not intentionally craft their lyrics. When you ask AI to write you a song, I'm not saying you can't do that. I'm just saying I would rather you had more human influence in the words and the philosophy of the song, because that's the control we have as humans. Don't just write a song for writing a song. Write a song because there's a story behind it, right? Write a song because there's something you want to say, like the song I wrote a few days ago about back talk. It's a reason, and it's very cryptic, but the philosophy shrouded in there. It's about you winning the game. It's about you blowing it up, right? That's what it's about. So have an idea, drive the idea through the lyrics, and if the lyrics are pristine, the rest is going to be a dream, but it has to start with you having a message. That message you want to share, craft the message, make it witty, make it fun, make it inviting, make it exciting, and the rest is going to follow. All right. I appreciate you, Bishan Vibe. That was a really great question. And like I said, in the next few minutes, maybe about 40 minutes thereabouts, we're going to jump into some cooking in the kitchen. And I'm bringing some of my craziest plugins. We're going to experiment with Suno. We're going to interpolate, extrapolate. We're going to mix a crazy gumbo. And by the time I'm done, I'm going to be looking to get music that sounds as realistic as possible. I'm bringing out all my magic tricks. You don't want to miss it.